10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want to first thank my ancestors, Mother, Father, God, Goddess, past, present, and future, for allowing me to be amongst you on this side today. I want to just come and unpack a few thoughts with you. The day before yesterday, I posted a video about Diddy being in New Orleans on the beach. I've set that video to private because we've discovered that Reggie was trolling and photoshopped himself in the video and made up a whole narrative about, P. Diddy being there, which is just insane. It's like, are you trying to manifest something? Are you bored? Like, to play with someone to that level that you spend hours, or however long it took you to Photoshop that picture, that's just a whole nother ball of wax. And but the beach still looked like Lincoln Beach. And the thing that got me even more so is that that day off camera behind the scenes. Now, one of the live videos that I did in front of y'all, y'all saw I found a dead snake. Well, that was the second dead snake that I had seen in years, because I hadn't seen a living snake outside of the ones that you see walking down the street in the French Quarters. I hadn't seen a living snake just, roaming around its environment since I was in South Africa. Like, I haven't seen a snake on the ground or moving around in a natural habitat since I left South Africa. And so the first snakes that I see in their natural habitat or close to their natural habitat, because all of them was coming towards the street, and which I think is odd. Like, worms will come out of the ground and come to the street to die. Like if you're walking down the sidewalk, you'll see dead worms dried out on the sidewalk. It's like, I don't know what makes them come to the sidewalk for that, but like that's what it had been giving me with these snakes. Like, two of them I've seen them, headed towards the road, or headed towards extreme sunlight, like leaving these moist, wet, damp places to come out in the sunlight and just kind of like dry out. And so the second snake was a little bit bigger, and I saw it and I took the time to bury it. But I saw a third snake on Sunday, East on Mother's Day. I saw a third snake, a big snake. It was like, it wasn't a small one. And I couldn't bury it because it was so flat, stuck to the ground. You could see his eyes, you could see the whole body, but it was smashed like a pancake. And this was the same day that the Diddy rumor, was made up, that he was in Louisiana. So that was a omen that the big snake was there. So I still don't know for a fact where he was. I know one thing, it damn sure looked like Lincoln Beach. Now, aside from all of the other stuff, Lincoln Beach does have the dead body. That is the truth. Looming over it, and it was a trans person, and I think it was around this time last year. It also, when I went there, I didn't see any life in the water. So, yeah, and we're wondering if they're just gonna take the money like they did with Jazzland and not actually fix it up. But the reason why I made this video, so we're gonna put a pin in. I like using that term because people be using it on me. Like, we're gonna put a pin in the Diddy situation and circle back to it. But I just wanted to let y'all know that I did not delete that video, but I did set it to private because I want to see. what is going to be revealed. And I don't want people to be entertaining a conversation that we don't know, um, if we don't know that it's factual. The reason why I titled the video is because that's exactly what I'm getting ready to talk about. Grand Rising, hey sister. So, two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about why, when I say should black people go back to Africa, and are black people the only ones that's ghetto? This is a this is a real conversation for me now, because a lot of times when we have our vernacular moments, or we say hood things, or when we say things that's considered to be ghetto or ratchet, black people say that's double talking for us. And to me, that's not double talking. That's just, you passionate. That's how you feeling. That's the vibe you on. You feel like eating that greasy pork chop today. And for me being a people person, I'm around a whole bunch of people who are not black, who are not melanated in that way, and they ghetto as fuck. Like, I know Caucasians people who are ghetto and ratchet. I know Asian people who are ghetto and ratchet. I know Hispanic people who are ghetto and ratchet. I know Latinx people, however you want to call it. I know a lot of people that are ghetto and ratchet, and it has nothing to do with their proximity to blackness. They just ghetto. Period. But one of the things that I really wanted to speak on, and the reason why I wanted to speak on this is because one of my godchildren, he asked me the other day. He said, if a white person asked you to go back to Africa, what would you tell them? He said, if a white person asks you to go back to Africa, what would you tell them? And I say, you first. Like them days where telling us to go back to Africa, that's some old shit. Like, that shit don't work me no more, because now, I know that this country was founded by fucking immigrants. Like, I think that misses us. I don't think that we focus on that enough. I don't think that we really pay attention to that. Like, this country was legit founded by immigrants, and immigrants continue to come over here year after year. Yeah, when them immigrants come here, they roll out the red carpet for them. But them motherfuckers get on their feet and they work, 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 work. Y'all sit up here and talk about how them immigrants come over here and they get more than what we get, but them immigrants live on the clock. Them Asiatic people come over here and be at work all day long. They be at work working double shifts. Y'all drag for them about having a store in your neighborhood. You drag for them about nothing being black owned in your neighborhood. But Chin Ying Chao Chu is at work at 10 o'clock, and Chin Ying Chao Chu ain't going home to about 11 o'clock that night. If it's a hair store, if it's a restaurant, wherever they work, the Arabs, they the same way. Come to work early and go home late. And motherfuckers work so much that a lot of them be having mental instabilities and be having drug and alcohol, severe drug and alcohol problems, because they're not taking enough time to do self-care. But yet y'all be quick to drag them, talking about they taking over our community, they working in our community. They literally working though. They literally working. And a lot of those stores and those restaurants are the cornerstones of our community. I'm not a person who goes out of my way to support black owned business, but let's be clear, I do support a lot of black owned businesses. I do believe in supporting black owned businesses. But in my opinion, everything comes from this melanin. Everything comes from this melanin. Everything comes from this melanin. So if I decide that I want to support a Chinese restaurant, I'm going to support it. If I decide I want to support an Indian restaurant, I'm going to support it. If I decide I want to support a Mexican restaurant, I'm going to support it. If I decide I want to support whatever. Now, if they don't have the decency to sew back into black culture, if they don't have the decency to sew back into the indigenous people of this of this plane, of this island, of Turtle Island, if they don't have the decency and the respect, that's something their ancestors got to deal with. That's on them. At that point, it's no longer on me. I've supported you multiple times. I've showed up for you multiple times. I've spent with you multiple times. And some of them would say that me just having a quality product for you, me not giving you no bullshit, that is me sewing back into your community. I don't owe you anything beyond this exchange. Maybe they don't want to build with you. Maybe they just want to sell to you. And so maybe that's a conversation we should have with people who own businesses in communities that we perceive to be non-black, non-melanated, that we don't feel like we have a connection with. But when you tell me to go back to America and y'all all legit immigrants, none of y'all have any natural claim, then black people, I just wish we all wouldn't go with the out of Africa narrative. I just wish we all wouldn't do it. Like that's the part that gets me. Like we all want to do this out of Africa shit. Okay. It's a lot of black people constantly coming over here from Africa because Africans love coming here getting that money. I just found out the other day that it's a village in the South Carolina that is actually an African village, and they're letting them operate just like they in Africa, which is very interesting to me. And it's very interesting that the village that they modeled from Africa, even though we know that Africa has some matriarchal colonies, it has some matriarchal countries. The one that they allowed to stand over here in the South Carolinas is a patriarchal one where a kingship is being passed down. And that's the thing that I don't like about the whole African narrative, like African us, like African in all of us, like making all of us African. All like it's clear in our families that the matriarchal side of our families is very strong. And there's no shame in that. That's not a put down. That's not a read for the woman to be able to be the head of the house. It's not a read for the woman to be the head of the house. It's not a read for your mother to have control. It's not a read for the father or for the masculine energy to identify that, hey, maybe he's not as strategic. Maybe he's not as much of a planner. Maybe he's not a visionary. It's okay to say that. It's okay to know your strengths. You can still use your gifts and your abilities to protect what y'all have established, what y'all have created, and what y'all trying to build. So for me, it's like the only way this setup can work is if the 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 female or the feminine being is saying, "Hey, you're the sun. You shine brighter than me. You're destined to go further than me. You're destined to do more than me. I have to be your rib and walk on." That's some colonizer shit. That's some colonizer shit. And I'm not here for that. So that's that whole like it's how y'all try to paint this African narrative that triggers me. It's how y'all try to shape the Africa narrative that is triggering for me. That's all of it's the same. And it's too much melanin over there in South Africa to keep I mean in out in Africa in general, just to keep telling this story that it was the king and then the queen. Like that narrative gets me. And so when we start talking about when we start so when Caucasian people start saying things like or white people in general start saying go back to Africa, I'm not fucked up about that no more. You first. Like, why don't you go back to England? Matter of fact, you ain't gotta go back to England because we still running this bitch like we over there in England. Matter of fact, I see why you feel home. Because let's be clear, the Britons, the English, they colonized the world. The Catholic Church then colonized the world. So we in England now. So I can see why you might feel, but still, this landmass did not belong to the people who incorporated America and created this nation on top of our indigenous ancestors. So why don't y'all go home and take everything that you brought over here with you? And this is for people who would tell me to go home. This is for people to tell me when I have proof that that I had ancestors that was here before the slave ships came, before the colonizer came. I'm not going no fucking well. I'm not going anywhere. Oh well, thank you. Don't take it offensively, but we need to close the borders. Do you agree? Hey, so closing the borders. I think at this point, I'm gonna try to say this as thoughtfully as I can. At this point, closing the borders, I think, will be a greater problem because we've allowed them to stay open for so long. We got so much going on over here now. We got such a mixture of people. I just, I think it's hard to avoid what's around the corner. I think it's hard to avoid what's around the corner. I do. And it's because we just been using people. Like America is like a fast food restaurant. We got such a high turnover rate when it comes to how we use people. We love a new fresh immigrant. We love to have a person first generation who ain't who really really just gleeful about and hopeful and optimistic about America because they really ain't been here. They really just got here. They really don't know how this operate. They really don't know how we run. And so before they lose that 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 excitement, before they use that mystery and that wonder about America, we hurry up and use them up. We put them in all of these positions where they could be the spokesperson, where they could be the advocate, and they could just tell that story how happy they are to be in America and how happy they are to have that opportunity. And then once they become disenchanted and they find out the truth and they see what it's really hitting for, then we shove them on the back shelf with everybody else and we call up the next new face, the next new immigrant that's going to get up on the stand and say, oh, America is so wonderful. It is the land of opportunity. And my family came and we're doing such great things. And it's because America and America is wonderful. And we are now doing these things. And we could not have done this back home in our country. And now we're back here and we're doing wonderful things. We love that. We love that. Get us some fresh immigrants to come. That's why we keep them borders open. Because they're gonna come over here, they're gonna work hard, they're gonna be excited, they're gonna until they really see how shit run, till they really see what it's really hitting for. You thought the grass was greener on the other side. You thought that because it glittered, it was gold. But when you got to the land of Oz and you got to see the wizard, you found out the wizard was just a white man who had traveled far away from home. Oh my! You thought that the wonderful wizard was just a man who had traveled away from home. That's what you found out. So after they finish using up these new immigrants, these new friends, because I've seen it. I do a lot of activism. I sit on a lot of boards, and what I've noticed is that they will take the ones with the new accent, the ones that's just coming over here from Puerto Rico, the ones that's just coming over from whatever country they lived in, from whatever little place that they lived in. They'll get them, honey, because they be excited to get up there and perform and to help sell this American dream. And what's wrong with black people? A lot of black people, not all black people, because you got your ones that be ready to tap dance. You got your ones that be ready to be their token. And let's be clear, it's a lot of black people um who are in the queer community and who are not in the queer community, who want things to stay like they are. It's trans women, it's black trans women who like things the way that they are because they get to be the only trans woman that's getting all of them resources, that's getting all the access. They love the fact of how things is set up. They want to be the magical nigga. That's one thing that the straight community, the gay community, the trans community, and the non binary community all have in common. We all have members of the community that want to be seen as that magical token nigga and will step over you, will step on you, will hate on you to make sure that all of the resources that are available, everything that's possible, is all going to them. Grin in your face, tell you how hard it is for black folks, tell you how black folks get mistreated, tell you how they lied to us, but you got to listen to people rhetoric. Whenever people start talking to me and they start talking about King Jesus and they start talking about, Africa and the slave ships, and that's the only narrative that you hear, that's the only narrative that you hear. They beyond their scope of communication, the only thing that you finna hear from them is our ancestors coming over on slave ships. Our ancestors were slaves and we came over on the boats and King Jesus. When you hear that King Jesus narrative and you hear that coming over on slave ships, you already know that the person you're talking to now in 2024 is intentionally choosing to erase parts of the truth in order to hold on to a certain place in their mind, in order to stay stuck in a certain place. You know what you're dealing with. So and you have to, how people show up is, that's how you have to deal with them. So if you know that this person is choosing to stay stuck in this place in their mind and they're not willing to even entertain the idea or really seriously reflect upon the idea that we might have been here before the slave ships came, that we may have a matriarchal side of ourselves that sees the mother or women or feminine beings as capable leaders, or that we are indigenous not just to this landmass, but to land masses all around the world. There's aboriginal ancestry in us all around the world, not just in America or what was Turtle Island. And so if you're not talking to someone who is willing to explore that mentally and emotionally, you are talking to someone who has accepted a demoted station, because you cannot fight fire with fire. If you try to make Christianity the religion that you willing to die for, and the religion that you willing to show up for, if you try to make patriarchy how you maneuver and what you believe, and if you keep buying into this notion that we all came over here from Africa, then what you are doing is putting yourself at the back of the line. You're literally doing it to yourself, because now you always going to be struggling with the fact that your ancestors wasn't born here, because you haven't entertained the idea that you could have had some ancestors already here, so you belong to this land just as much as everyone else. You haven't even entertained that. You haven't entertained the idea that we've lived in a matriarchal society before, and that feminine beings can handle power. They can handle being in control. So you still trying to run with the patriarchy. You still trying to run behind the patriarchy. That's also going to put you at the back of the line, because now if you weren't born a man and you don't fit into the idea of what it means to be a man, secretly, you may never admit it, you think that you're inferior. So now you're dealing with that. All of these things, if you don't open your mind up to seeing things from a different angle, you're going to continue to put yourself at the back of the line. And see, that's something that I refuse to do. I refuse to look at myself as foreign to this land. I refuse to look at myself as inferior because I don't fit into the standards of what it means to be a man in this country. I refuse to believe that my creator has to be masculine pronouns, because again, that diminishes how I show up in this reality. So until you change how you see the world, until you are able to be a being that understands that masculine and feminine can both be powerful, can both be sovereign, can both be autonomous, can both guide, can both teach, can both heal, until you accept that everybody in your family did not come, all of your ancestors did not come over here on slave ships, and your lineage does not begin at slavery. That's why when they tell all of these stories, when they say why we won't vote, why we don't get out there and vote, your ancestors died for this. But which ones though? Ashe Fatima. But which ones though? Like his story, capital H, capital I, capital S, lowercase the rest of that shit. His story, make sure y'all click that like button because you know the algorithm be playing with me. But his story does not even acknowledge that, it doesn't even create an opportunity for Black people, for queer people, for women to be at the table. They were not considered in the American dream. They were not considered in they were not considered in the Constitution. It had nothing to do with us. It had nothing to do with us. So why do you think that all of a sudden you about to be sitting at the head of the table? Why do you think all of a sudden what you're saying is going to be important in a nation that was never designed to accommodate you, that was never designed to consider you? Them immigrants, them founding immigrants, because that's what I'm finna call them. Not the founding fathers, the founding immigrants. Hashtag the founding immigrants. The founding immigrants gathered in that room, and they made up a whole bunch of rules and laws that basically saw the deeply melanated ebenoid people as cattle and livestock, that basically saw women as property and did not even acknowledge queer people. So if we want to see a shift in society, we have to start like every year they get out there and they be you vote for your ancestors, vote for your ancestors. I can't tell y'all what to do, but I could tell you what we doing ain't working. Y'all get out there, more y'all get invested in voting, but you invest like first of all, you gotta have a viable party. You gotta have viable parties. Like we literally have been a two-party system. Like there's other parties, but those parties don't have no traction. We ain't paying those parties no attention. And so if you want your vote to matter, you have to be voting for the main two parties. And the main two parties are ran, if you ask me, by the Catholic Church. So much for the separation of church and state. Then, people get upset with the people who voted for Donald Trump last time. Let's be clear. I know some of y'all be sitting up here and y'all be like, I voted for Donald Trump. And y'all be proud of it. Or y'all be like, I voted for Joe Biden. And y'all be so proud of it. And this year y'all gonna be out there with y'all little medallions on, your little pins on saying you voted and you just finished voting, you voted for Trump and you voted for Joe Biden and you voted for this and that. Your vote don't fucking count. You do know that, right? Let's play the tape again. Hillary won the popular vote, which was the vote of the people. Even after Hillary won, Donald Trump was elected because of the electoral college vote. The people did not elect Donald Trump. Now, I think Obama one year had the people and the electoral college vote. I got to do research on what really went on with him. But I know for a fact I followed Donald Trump election because that was fascinating to me. I Obama was the first time I ever voted. First time I participated in that foolishness. But I followed Trump's election even though I didn't participate in it. And let me tell you something. Everybody was, I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. But unless you had an electoral college vote, your shit didn't matter. Y'all be out here about to kill each other and y'all be out here about to have a fight with each other. Y'all be out here rolling and brawling in these streets, having insurrections and things when your vote does not even count. Not for no presidential election. Because if they don't agree with you, because they didn't want Hillary. They never. And imagine serving your country and doing everything that they ask you to do, but they've been paying attention to you politically, and something just ain't setting right with the people with the electoral college vote. They would not let Hillary have that. What is the tea? What did they not want to let Hillary have it simply because she's a woman? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, at this point, they have starved women so long when it comes to the presidential. I think that when they finally do let a woman get up into that White House, she gonna be a monster because she's gonna be so eager to prove that she's belonged there the whole time. She's not going to be beholden to the people. She's not going to be trying to serve the people. She is going to do whatever Mr. Charlie, the machine, whatever they tell her to do, she going to do it because it's going to be so important to her to be the first woman to have that opportunity. They're creating the monster. This is why they call it a game. We can see this in other places where there's never been female representation or there's never been a woman in power and how these women act when they get power. Y'all know what place I'm thinking of. I ain't gonna say it on this live, but you know what place I'm thinking of. Like when they never had power and they finally get an opportunity to have power, bam. Yeah. And then Crip Line came on here. But baby, let me make sure y'all know what I just wiped off because I think somebody said hello boogers. And I think somebody may have thought that was a booger. But no, when I got ready to go to sleep last night, I rubbed my face with aloe vera. That's why my skin looks like it does. So that was a dried piece of aloe vera. No boogers, darling. just for your information, because I do see a comment that say hello boogers. But yeah, what I just removed was a dried piece of aloe vera. If it was a booger, it wouldn't have been no shame in it. But yeah, that's really what I want, and I think that's where my platform is this year. Is like I think that's where my platform is now. It's just like kind of like focusing on having a conversation about the electoral college vote. Like really, because until we change that, until we change how we pick our leader, because you have to think about it. The people didn't pick Donald Trump, yet Donald Trump was able to pick members of the Supreme Court who have the power to 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 mandate our federal laws, our federal legislation. Like they have the power to enforce laws that the state cannot overturn. That is a powerful act. The president has the right to veto. The president can call for war. And the president signs off on everything. And the president can pick the ones who are going to be in the Supreme Court. And that decision is not made by the people. And the president is a direct reflection of what is going on in your local government. When you see politicians and they become the mayor or they become a state representative or whatever that is, local, I don't want to say state representative, I don't want to jump that high. But if you see a politician who is your mayor or sits on city council, when you see that your city councilman is always moving around, or when you see that your mayor is always visiting other countries, or your mayor is always visiting other states and other cities, this is because they are networking for a higher position, and that does not come through sitting home. You know, a lot of people have their opinions about Latoya Cantrell in New Orleans, but I'm gonna say this: y'all expected, yeah, it's like, I don't know, you listen to people talking, it's like you expect for some people to get in office and to be so different than what was done before them. When the truth is, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If you get in the office as a black woman, you never, like New Orleans never had a black female mayor before. If she would have got in that position and she would have did everything that was expected of her, she would just really been riding for her people and doing everything that she was supposed to do for the city, then if you ask me, they would have created a catastrophe. They would have created a Hurricane Katrina, like they did for Kathleen Blanco when Kathleen Blanco became the first female mayor or the first woman mayor of Louisiana. They created an obstacle. They didn't have to create one for Latoya because Latoya got up in there and played the game how the game go. Latoya got up in there and said, you know what? This how we doing it? Okay, then I'm finna move just like you niggas. And when I say niggas, I mean white folk too. Latoya got up in there and did not delineate from the script. She did shit just the way them niggas did it. Latoya said, I'm gonna be the mess. So you bitches ain't gotta create one. Have you heard of Nia Lee Fuller and Francis Chris Wiley? No, I'm gonna have to Google that. but got up in there and became the mess. Got up in there and played the game just how it went. But I guarantee you, when Mama finished this seat, when Mama finish, she gonna be able to go and run for a greater office because she been networking the whole while she been in there. I I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have faith in politics as it stands. But this is one of the reasons why I've been moving more towards politics. I've been moving towards it because I don't want to just be downplaying it and putting it down when I haven't investigated close enough. And I'm not really the type of person that want to sit and look at the news and watch everything that's going on the news because I personally feel like the news be lying a lot. And I feel like they spin narratives to leave us depressed, to leave us upset, to leave us aggravated, to leave us divided. And I don't need extra trauma cuz I can create enough drama in my own life. I ain't got to watch the news to find out who getting killed, who got shot, what new virus is out. Because I think the way they program us, it makes us vulnerable to everything that they're putting out. They program us and they put out content in a way to to have us already triggered, to have us already so sensitive. And all it takes is you keep programming yourself like that. You make yourself susceptible to become physically sick, to become mentally sick, to become emotionally unwell by programming yourself with information that does not play the whole tape or that is not balanced in how the messages are being told. Death is a part of life. We got people in this country who are a certain pay grade, a certain bracket, who are around here committing all of the crimes that people go to jail for daily. I was talking to somebody else, and we was talking about the high crime rate in New Orleans. But let's be clear, it's the same, and I'm gonna say niggas, and I'm talking about white folk too, talking about Caucasians too. It's the same niggas. Might not be as many Caucasians, but it's the same niggas going backwards and forwards to jail. When we talk about the high crime rate, when we talk about how many people are going to jail in New Orleans, understand it's the same niggas. They be career criminals. These motherfuckers be going in and out of jail. They don't know how to survive outside of jail. And like I said in a video the other day, a lot of women deal with obesity because it's parts of themselves that they are repressing. They deal with obesity because it's parts of themselves that if they were to if they were to set in that power, if they were to walk in all of that, then they would be demonized. They would be alienated. They would be pushed to the fringes of the tribe just from walking in their truth, just from being their whole selves. And so you have a lot of women in this country, black women in particular, who are dealing with obesity because there are some tribal natural things that they want to express that they're not allowed to express. And on the other side of that, we have a lot of males, a lot of beings who identify with the construct of manhood, who going in and out of jail because honestly, he want to be with another man. He want to do some homosexual things and he doesn't have the courage to express that. And maybe he's not even homosexual. Maybe he's not even gay. Maybe he's just gender fluid. Maybe he likes to express himself in different clothing. Maybe he likes to be a little freer in how he shows up and in how he presents himself. But because society is not set up for him to do that, he'll rather be locked up. He'll rather go in and out of jail than come home and self-medicate and drink and do foolish stuff to go right back to jail. Cause they do different things on the street than they do behind bars. They do different things on the street than they do behind bars. So some of them, and I'm telling you, it's they do this for generations. We have black men, a high volume of black men that spend so much time in prison. If you ask me, the same way the soldiers get a check when they retire, you've been in prison 40 years of your life. You done gave 40 years of your life, 40 years of free labor, 40 years of your time. You done been a guinea pig for them to understand how to advance the prison industrial complex, the private prison complex. Like, you've helped them to build that. You've been a cornerstone in that. To me, I think some prisoners, when they come home from jail, they should get SSI because you're institutionalized. You should get SSI. 40, you done gave 40 years of your life to the system. 50 years of your life to this system, 25 years of your life to this system. Where's my SSI check? Where's my benefits? Where's my benefit pack? Where's my 401k? Which I've been in and out of jail. And nothing is free in this country. It's no such thing as free housing. It's no such thing as free housing. It's no such thing as, oh, you getting EBT food stamps. Let me say this to you. And I'm gonna go ahead and get off this nerve. Thank you. And I'm gonna go ahead and get off this nerve. This is for the people who would say, oh, you living off food stamps, or oh, you living off SSI, or you getting a check on the first. When the government get ready to do their experiments, when they getting ready to practice something, when they getting ready to work something out, you know who are the first guinea pigs they use? Big pharma with the medical insurance. You know who are the first ones in line to be guinea pigs for these science projects? People who are hooked up with the system on SSI and Social Security. And a lot of times, they be the made mistakes. It be the fault of doctors, practitioners, malpractice. They done an operation on you that's to mess you up to the point to whereas you can't go back to work. They done compromised your health. They done created another problem that creates another problem that creates another problem. And so now you can't work. A lot of people who get SSI, a lot of people who get food stamps, a lot of people who get that SNAP and get those benefits. We like people who get those benefits, they're not just sitting at home minding their business. They the ones who got to go to all these doctor's appointments. They the ones who getting picked up by the van to be ran in, to be checked on, to be operated. Doctors lying to you because they know that, hey, on the budget that you got, on the finances you got, you ain't gonna be well traveled. You ain't gonna be well informed because they controlling your information. They got you an EBT cell phone. So they could program you through the cell phone. They could give you an EBT smartphone. So they can give you whatever propaganda, whatever information they want you to have. It's a setup. And y'all try to make it look like them giving you free EBT and y'all paying taxes. Y'all paying, y'all should be mad at the government though. But don't be mad at the people who are getting those benefits because a lot of times those benefits are don't cover what it costs for them to be walking around here being a guinea pig and a lab rat for the government. You quick to say, oh, my taxes pay yo this and my taxes pay yo that. No, what your taxes pay for is for your corrupt ass government. Because we should all live in a society that gave us cushion, that supported us in finding out who we are, that supported us in pursuing our own dreams instead of just automatically being shoved into this dream, trying to find our place in a dream that was designed without us in mind. I got to try to find my place in a dream. I got to try to make this my dream when the founding immigrants who came together and created this did not even have me or my kind in mind. And so now I have to try to establish myself, and I have to fight to establish myself, and I have to struggle to establish myself in a dream that never even considered me. Type of fuck shit is that? Then y'all gonna tell me because I'm getting SSI, because I'm getting Social Security, because a lot of y'all that's around here making the big bucks, that's around here really thriving in this dream, you are being silenced. You are a slave to your money. You can't say nothing about Palestine. You can't say nothing about the Congo. You can't say nothing about what the Israelites are doing at this point. You can't say nothing about what's happening to black people. You can't say nothing about the injustices and the corruption and the crime. So the same way you feel about having to pay taxes and your tax money going to taking care of me, that's how the fuck I feel about y'all. I'm out here on the first line being treated like a lab rat, being ostracized, being alienated, walking around with a target on my back. For how much money? For a check on the first? Because I refuse to be the person that will be quiet and watch so many people suffer. I refuse to be out here doing harm to other people because silence is motherfucking violence. But they still drawing my blood, running tests on my blood. I still got to make it to all my doctor's appointments. I still got to talk to the psychiatrist. I still got to talk to all of them. I can't miss my appointments because if I miss my appointments, they're going to take away the little scraps I get. And meanwhile, while I'm waiting on them scraps every month, while I'm waiting on them little scraps to come every month, I'm still speaking the truth. I'm still speaking up when I need to speak up. I'm still representing when I need to represent. I'm still talking about what need to be talked about. But a lot of y'all who out here living this American dream, you the reason why so many others live in a nightmare. And you got to answer for that someday, not me. Your dream is creating a nightmare for a lot of those people that was not considered when the Constitution was being created. It's costing you. You signed a contract and you out here exploiting people. You out here treating people like data, information, statistics. You doing all that. Then when you come home from work, you wonder why you drained. You wonder why you tired. You wonder why you fatigued. You think to yourself, you ain't hurt nobody. In my mind, I'll always be in your mind. But in reality, it's fucked up. In reality. So, people try to come at you and they'll try to be like, oh, you living off the government. But why? Why does it have to be like this? When slavery first started, we did not have you already know when slavery first started, we did not have currency. We did not have money. Our ancestors were doing a bartering system before they came. And we were doing, I'm doing just fine. We were doing just fine. We had a bartering system. Getting along very well without you in my life. We were doing. I'm doing just fine. We were doing fine. It was a bartering system. There was no money. I am getting, I am not living off the government. I am getting the scraps that I am owed for being a lab rat in this experiment, in this project. But at the same time, I'm gonna use what bit of sovereignty I have, what bit of free will I have, what bit of space I have to tell the stories of through my art, to through my music, through my platform, through my book writing. I am not compliant. I am not over here trying to strive to live for the American dream to make sense of this and to try to make this shit okay. No, I'm very much here for the struggle. And some days I check out. Some days I don't move out the bed. Some days I don't answer my phone. Some days I just lay here. Some days I don't do nothing. But even when I'm not physically doing nothing, my thoughts and my prayers are with my loved ones. And that takes power and that takes will. So even when I'm not doing nothing, I'm doing something. Y'all have created a world through the pursuit of this dream that has created so much uncertainty. I am not against chaos. Honestly and truly, I don't think that we need to live in chaos every day. But sometimes I think chaos has to come in order to fix things. Make sure y'all, hit that like button because I be fighting with the algorithm. But chaos is necessary. And I think um we're getting ready to enter a new era. We're getting ready to enter a new phase in existence, and I think that some chaos is gonna it's gonna have to happen. It's gonna I think it's gonna have to get real ugly. And that's what I've kind of like been bracing myself for. Like a lot of us scared, we don't want that. We're not built for that because we are worker bees and we try to get out there and get what we need to be comfortable. And we don't want to be inconvenienced because America has turned us into some fucking purse dogs, some toy dogs in a purse. Our ancestors, I was telling one of my godsons that the other day. I said, they try to make us believe that um this is evolution, but it's not. All of the technological advancements that are being made, they try to convince us that this is evolution. But y'all harvested technology from human beings. Y'all calcified our pineal gland, and y'all basically got us scared of our own shadow because because most of us cannot navigate a space that is not completely controlled. Most Americans cannot successfully navigate a space that is not completely controlled. That is not evolution. That is not evolution. To be out of your breath by the time you make it a good half a mile, to not be able to stand in the sun because you too hot, you overheated, to be eating fast food and not have any fruit or vegetables in your diet, that is not evolution. The devil is a liar. To be totally dependent on technology, to be totally um um to depend on things outside of yourself, that is not, it's evolution for something, but it is not evolution for you. You are not evolving. No. Our ancestors were able to run with wolves. Our ancestors were able to climb up into the trees and do this. Our ancestors were able to breathe longer underwater. Our ancestors were able to work harder in complex situations, able to make it happen, endurance. This is not that. This is not that. This is not that. So miss me with uh mm-mm. This is why one of my friends was telling me the other day, so I think it's gonna get better. I think it's gonna change. Um, you know, I said the only way I would want to stay in this body, and the only way I would want to stay in this carnation past 8 to 10 years is if we were to all of a sudden, like if a star was to hit the planet and we were to start shape shifting and we were to get some of our celestial powers back, if something was to happen and my pineal gland was to completely unharden and I was to start using um, at least 50% of my brain. If the world is not about to give that within the next 5 or 6 years, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for the little house on the prairie, the I'm not here for the little house on the prairie. I'm not here for the we shall overcome. I'm not here for the singing and marching and whites only pie. It's still happening. This 2024, and we still live in the same reality, just with a few more bells and whistles. But it's the same shit. People's health deteriorating. it- the food is garbage most of the time. You have to really, really search to go and find something healthy to eat in a place that's got so much abundance. We ain't even got clean water. We have to buy bottled water from the store. We don't even have clean water supplies. Miss me with the little house on the prairie. We shall overcome. No, I'm not doing this for another 20 years. And honestly and truly, my heart goes out to the children. My heart goes out to y'all children that y'all keep bringing here. Cause in a minute, they gonna be competing with robots for jobs and opportunities. No, I don't think it have to be this complicated. I don't think it have to be. It don't have to be this. And all of this could change if enough people, if enough people would stop shucking. When I was in New Orleans, and I'm not about to drag New Orleans. I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna get off this live. I always say that Atlanta is Wakunda, because black folk be cooning here. It just be some heavy on the cooning. Let me give you a prime example. So, I could literally change in 15 minutes. But so so I wanted to get my 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 M changed to a F on my social security card at the social security office. So I went to the social security office to get my M changed to a F. I had done already had it changed on my state ID. And I had, and my name was already no, it wasn't changed on my state ID. It was changed on my passport. I think it was changed on my passport. And I was trying to get it changed on trying to work towards getting it changed on my state ID. So I went in and a black woman, waited on me first. And she was like, "Oh no, we can't do that." And she was happy to tell me no. Like you could see the delight in her face. Because a lot of times, when you pull out your ID, they be looking to see what that gender marker gonna say, because then some of them they'll play with you and they'll be like, "Yes, sir," or da da da. So I pulled out my ID, where I asked her could she change it, and she was like, "Oh no, we can't do that. That's against our policies." Let me tell you something. I went back to the Social Security office the next day and I intentionally went to a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And within moments of me going in there, she said, "Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so hurt." Like I didn't tell her what the black woman did to me yesterday. I just, told her a little bit of my story. And she was like, "Oh, I hate that happened to you. And I hate that you're going through that." And literally walked back to the bag. And when she came back from the bag, she had my shit changed. Just like that. I mean, a snap of the finger. This white woman walked back there and got my shit done. And the black woman argued me down the day before and told me that she couldn't do it. And y'all wonder why a lot of the queer community panders to white folk. Cause see, white folk got that crusade shit down pat. They've been doing it all over the world. So of course they know how to do it in America. They will go and destroy your water supply, rape your wives, beat your children, kidnap your children, child traffic your children. Then on the front street, then on the street over here, the street right next to where they doing all this pillaging and raping and robbing, right on the next corner, here come the missionaries to bring you to Christ, to give you Jesus, to heal you, to save you. They've got fresh water that they stole from you. They've got food. They got it all. On this corner, they wearing you out on this corner right here. And so they got it. And see, black folk, we don't have that mindset. A lot of us, we're very much, I've got to get what I needs from Massam. I've got to get what I needs. And so that brings me to what I was getting ready to say about New Orleans. So while I was down there, this is one thing that I noticed culturally about New Orleans. We have a lot of indigenous people there. There's a lot of indigenous energy there. New Orleans is so powerful. It's such a powerful place. And it's so many indigenous energies there. So many beings there who are just relentlessly dedicated to being authentic and being who they are. But once you done been to jail so many times, once you done been incarcerated, once the system has really, really, you done ran through that system so many times, they really put the fear of the good Lord. And I'm not talking about God Goddess. I'm not talking about the creator. They put the fear of the good Lord into you. And by the time they finish putting the fear of the good Lord into you down there, you's ready to get up on that plantation. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's literally, it's literally, it's yeah, less than 10% from Africa. So the math black folks was already. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Like, if you would have watched the video from beginning to end, and of course just being on my platform, I always talk about the fact that we were here before slavery. I titled the video Going Back to Africa because I knew it was gonna get people to come on the live. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? To have a conversation. But you ain't gotta tell me. Trust me, I know. But But yeah, there's so much pure raw energy in in Louisiana. So much pure raw energy um in places like that. And that's why they are so relentless in how they police the people. It's a lot of power here in Georgia too though. I'm not going to take that from them. It's a lot of powerful energy here, but they are it is a collaborative effort to police black people in Georgia. You can't blame white supremacy in Georgia because a lot of times black people are the ones that are really legit running the institutions. They may not own the institutions, but they run the institutions. And they are many times complicit in how society is going. So like it is a collab if Cop City happens, it's going to happen because bougie elitist black folk want that shit to happen too. Let's be clear. This is not just some Caucasians sitting around. Um, this is not just Caucasians that's agreeing upon this. This is some bougie elitist black people who have really bought into this dream, who legit are fine with playing second fiddle to some Caucasian people, who are legit fine with patriarchy, who are legit fine with this out of Africa narrative that we all came over on slave ships, who are legit fine with the idea that this country was created without black people, without women, and without queer people in mind. There are some black people who are totally here for this. They wake up for the shit. So some people say that some people grow out their dreadlocks to symbolize that they're here for this struggle. A game. It's a game that some of them got time for, and I don't. I don't. I don't. I'm not finna. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to traumatize myself and stress myself out and give myself cancer and make myself sick in order to prove what I'm made of. That's not the game I want to play. The game I want to play is being in a loving community where I feel nurtured and I feel seen, um, being challenged by nature itself to evolve, not by some shit y'all made up in this matrix. That's what I want. And so when I'm looking at New Orleans, I be looking at it like when the dudes be walking up to you and they be trying to holler at you, they be so happy when they got a job up on the plantation. And I'm not putting down work. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying as me putting down people who are gainfully employed or people who work. But it's the attitude that you have that a lot of time plucks me. Like now you're better because Massa done gave you a job. Because now you's better because you's working and you got promoted. Y'all know I got a friend who I always give a platform to, and I let him go live on my platform from time to time. I'm happy that he's in a better space. I'm happy that he's doing better. But when I tell you they broke him, y'all talking about buck breaking, jugging somebody in the booty. Oh no, honey. Buck breaking is when they mentally break you. When they mentally make you believe that you were such a bad person when you were free and you wasn't beholden to their systems and they caught you slipping because of some trauma that you may have experienced as a childhood that made you vulnerable, seeing your daddy in and out of jail, seeing your mama prostitute herself in order to survive, or to be able to provide for the family. You grew up seeing all of this, and so naturally, because you live in a society that never considered you, a lot of times you got to get it out the mud. And what therapist is going to understand your trauma when that's not their narrative? A lot of the therapists that y'all send us to talk to be these people that literally have no experience. So how can you therapize me when this is not your narrative, when this is not what you come from, when this is not what you know about? And if you do therapize me, is that therapy going to really be beneficial to me being my whole authentic self, or is this you molding me into fitting into this motherfucking matrix? You molding me to be a cog in the fuckery. This is why a lot of black people rebel against um, therapy through the institution. Because what you're doing is trying to fix me to fit in this matrix. And is that what I really want? Is that really what my ancestors want? And so y'all break down a lot of, some of my ancestors may want it because some of my ancestors is coons. We're going to hold space for the coons today too. There's some coons in the bloodline. But y'all will shame a person and police a person and police a person and micromanage a person and passively aggressively push a person into the space that you want them to go. And because I remember when I first got into advocacy, when I first started doing advocacy work, I thought, when I got my job working for the state, when I got my job working for Brotherhood, when I got my job, when I came in, I literally, like, when you come up in the streets, that's you channeling your indigenous, your survival skills. That's you learning how to navigate nature and being in the wild. Like when you first go into jail, even though that's an institutionalized place, it's still some spirits in there that are very primal. And so you have to maneuver from a primarily primal faith place when you're navigating some of these spaces. And when I was in them streets, honey, baby, I used to be out there with a little, I never forget. The first time I went to jail, I was wearing an outfit that I sold on hand. Child, it was a little bitty see-through thing. You could have compared it to some of them Indian clothes we was wearing back in the G. But I had my little plum hair. I had on my little leopard prints, my little leopard print, see-through, what you call it, just giving you some modern day indigeneity, just giving, you know what I'm saying? And and baby, they took me to jail and locked me up. They took me to jail and locked me up. And I went to jail so many times in my 20s, and I experienced so much policing and so much manipulation, so much trying to wear me down mentally, that when I finally got the opportunity to show up looking cis assuming, um and to be able to navigate spaces that were traditionally, um for cis heterosexual people or gay people who could perform cisness. So when I went into the spaces, I was so excited. I was so humble. I was so I'm be honest with you. It was given very much. I'm so thankful for these opportunities. That's why I understand why niggas be happy to get a job. Why some black people be so excited to works and have an opportunity to be up on the plantation. Cause I've been there. I know what it's like. I's working now. I's got a job now. I's a decent and upstanding and respectable persons. I's decent now, Mom. I's decent, Paul. I's working now. I's got a job. I's I's working for Massam. And I's getting my checks and I's getting my benefits. That was me. Very much. Very much me. But then when you realize it's the same shit, it's the same wolves, it's the same dirty motherfuckers, it's the same cutthroat shit, just in different clothes, using bigger words, playing in your face just a little bit more strategically. But it's the same shit. It's the same script, different cast. It's the same shit. Same shit. I was like, the first couple of times I got fucked over when I was working in organized um advocacy, and when I started entering the rooms and started was in the rooms of the state and outlet, I was like, damn, I could have kept my whole clothes on for this. Cause y'all fucking me. Why not dress the part? I'm getting fucked with no grease. Why not let me dress the part? Because y'all playing in my face. And needless to say, I couldn't last long in any of those environments. I did end up resigning from both of the jobs. I stayed on one job, I want to say 6 months. And I stayed on the other job. Yeah, I stayed on both of the jobs about 6 months. I was not, and it was because I realized that my voice in community was more important, because my job is to bring a portion of society to a place where we're not afraid, we're not fearful of dreaming beyond what is. Like that is my duty, that is my responsibility in this manifestation, is to be relentless in sowing the seeds, carrying the eggs, and cultivating a tribe in which we relentlessly see ourselves beyond what is. That is always going to be my platform. That's always going to be my message. Until I reincarnate or shapeshift, that is what is going to be given. When I get up in front of this camera, when I get up in front of this camera and talk, when I get anywhere and talk, it is always going to be to move us beyond what is now. Don't forget to look up Neely and Francis Cress Wildly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Neely and Francis. Can you write that in the comment section though? Because after this video is over with, I'm not gonna be able to get back to this. So write that in the comment section of this video, so I could be able to go back to it. Neely and Francis. I think I've heard of that. I think I've heard that said before, but I'm definitely gonna look it up. But yeah, that will always be. And if I am able to achieve wealth, because I do want to achieve wealth, and I have my crazy reasons for wanting to be wealthy. I have my crazy reasons for wanting to be wealthy. Um, I want to experience wealth because I know a lot of people will brush off a lot of the things that I have said or the way that I think, and they'll be like, "Oh, you just saying that because you ain't got no money. You just saying it because you broke. You just saying that because you poor." That's what elitist black people love to do. They love to say when poor black people or people who don't have any money, they love to say we say the fuck shit we say because we broke or because we ain't got no money, and we would change if we had money. We just saying that because we broke. So, yeah, they love to say that. They love to use that as the excuse for everything. And so I would like to manifest a nasty coin. Um, and when I get that nasty coin, I want to build a small village. I want to build a small township, and I want to create a model of balance. I want to create a community where trans people, queer people, um, people of all different races, colors, creeds, sexes, genders, languages, where they all come together and where we all reason together and where we all are seen as equals in society. Like we are all valued, we all have a place, and we're all celebrated. Like I want to model that, I want to model that um for those who are ready to experience that, you know. So that's probably the biggest dream I have in this incarnation, besides being able to physically fly. I be like literally in my dreams I'm always flying. That's another reason why, being in this physical form for another 15, 20 years would be crazy to me, because I'm not going to lie, the dream world, sometimes I have nightmares. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say all of my dreams be just yes. But the dream world, I be getting my life in the dream world. Like especially um now that I'm not working in spaces that are harmful to me, because we take things that we experience when we're navigating our day-to-day life in society, that transmutes, that we carry that, and we'll carry that into the dream world, and it will show up in a different way. And so you have to guard your energy while you maneuver during the day, so that you can rest well at night, and so that your dreams will not be violent and oppressive and chaotic. If you are navigating oppression and drama and chaos all day, fuck you think you about to do in your dreams? How the fuck can you even visualize a space that's liberated? When I tell you in my dreams, I be so powerful. I fly so much in my dreams. I be flying and doing so much magic in my dreams that my worlds sometimes bleed together. And I forget, oh damn, this is this is the Matrix. I'm back in the Matrix. I can't do all of this in the Matrix. Like but some days I be sitting there like, did that happen in your dream, or did that happen? Like it starts to bleed together. What is that, Quindale Dingle? Oh, okay, that's your name. Yeah, but let me light a candle, because I haven't lit a candle the whole while I was in New Orleans. Yeah, this aloe vera came from my mama, and I had put it on my face last night because my skin have been cutting up. And I don't know, I think it's because I've been cheating. I've been eating meat and drinking alcohol like a fish while I was in New Orleans. So I think my skin kind of giving into me right now. But I'm about to be on I'm about to get back on my strict fast, because I gotta go to New York soon, and I want this waist to be snatched. I want this waist to be snatched. Can somebody say snatched waist? So this week, honey, I gotta get back on that. I gotta get back on it, Pooh. I gotta get back on it, Pooh. I gotta get back on it, Pooh. And when I go back down there next time, I got to stay on it, because for my birthday, I'm determined to be 170 pounds. And I fucked up this week though, because I slid back in them 190s. But the good thing about it is I still have over a month, and I could drop them 10 pounds in a couple of days, because shell, that ain't number water weight. Like I could get back in the 80s. Today is today is Wednesday. What? No, today Thursday. Today is Thursday. Jail. I could slide back in the 80s within 4 days. Like that's water weight. That's alcohol. Jail. I'm about to do my 5 mile walk. I'm gonna do my 5 mile walk today. I'm gonna do my 5 mile walk tomorrow, and I'm gonna be back in them 80s, honey. I'm gonna shoot back to them 80s. And probably after I drink my coffee and take my little boo boo, I'm gonna be in them early 90s. I'm gonna be 190. And then after I go on that 5 mile walk, it's gonna be 189. Then I'm gonna go on that 5 mile walk again. It's gonna be 185. I ain't about to play with you. Stop playing with Orion. The fuck? Okay, so let's light So let's light our candle. This candle is representative of the masculine, the feminine energy, the past, the present, the future, as above, so below, as within, so without. And sometimes we do it backwards because we know that this is an illusion. We want to acknowledge the dream world too. So we'll say, as above, so below, as within, so without. So that's the backwards way, just to acknowledge it from, all the ways. Um, this candle is representative of our ancestors who have come, our ancestors who are here, our ancestors who are coming. It is acknowledging the true Trinity. Um, we are so thankful for all that they have contributed to society and beyond society and civilization. We are praying for a day where our pineal gland will be restored to its full function, where we will be using more of our brain power, where we will have the capacity to tap into um, magics and elements that have been suppressed within our DNA. And I pray that we will be responsible enough to handle these gifts and that we will not use them to create more harm and to cause more violence in a world that is overflowing with it. We will use these gifts, use this magic, use this awareness, use this consciousness to not restore, because we ain't trying to restore this shit. But to morph us into a place, to open a portal that will bring us into a reality that will be more inclusive of all of the factions that our founding immigrants um, left out when they were making their contract. Um, into a system that will not be dominated by patriarchal church or a two-party electoral system. We want to morph ourselves into something where there's more sovereignty, there's more autonomy, there's more responsibility in all of us. We are all more equipped to handle more, to thrive in the midst of more. A man, a woman. Lay them, lay learn. Let's move away from the scarcity model. Let's move away from this lack model. Let's move out of the rat race. Let's remember who we be. A man, a woman, lay them, lay learn. Love y'all. Later.